friends, welcome back to Tiny Tales with Tia. Today we're going to be reading Peppa's Dragon Adventure. Every big adventure begins with a little spark of imagination. Let's see where Peppa takes us today. This book belongs to my tiny tots. It was night time and Peppa and George were ready for bed. Peppa climbed the ladder and up to her bunk bed, but George wouldn't get into his. "What's the matter, George?" asked Daddy Pig. "Don't you want to go to bed?" George shook his head. "George doesn't want to have a bad dream," explained Peppa, "so he doesn't want to go to bed." "I'm sure we can fix that with a good bedtime story," said Daddy Pig. "Snuggle down, and I'll begin. Once upon a time, there was a grand castle high up in the sky. It was home to a very special family. Queen Mummy, King Daddy, Princess Peppa, and Prince George. "That's us," Peppa whispered to George. George giggled. "The family did lots of important things together," said Daddy Pig. "Didn't they, Mummy Pig?" "Oh yes," said Mummy Pig. "Important things like sitting on their comfy thrones, eating delicious food, and reading bedtime stories in their cozy royal beds. And playing hide and seek," said Peppa. "Yes, and playing hide and seek," agreed Mummy. "One day, when they were playing a game of hide and seek," continued Mummy Pig, "Prince George spotted something sparkly." "It was an egg," said Daddy Pig. "A giant golden egg." Prince George thought it was a chocolate egg wrapped in gold foil. "Yummy!" cried Prince George, going to take a bite. Clunk! It wasn't chocolate. It was made of real gold. Suddenly, said Mummy Pig, Prince George heard Princess Peppa singing. "I'm coming to find you, Prince George." When Princess Peppa found him, he showed her the golden egg. "Ooh, how fancy," she said. Prince George showed it to the Queen and King. "Ooh, how fancy," they said. Queen Mummy put the egg where everyone could see it. "Thank you, Prince George," she said. "Doesn't it look lovely?" "Great ending, Mummy Pig," said Daddy Pig. "Are you ready to go to bed now, George?" "No," said George, shaking his head. "I know," said Peppa. "I'll do a bit more story." "Yay!" "The next day," began Peppa, "the family saw that the giant golden egg had hatched." "Oh no!" everyone cried. So the family went on a hunt for Dinosaur. Grrr! Cheered George. "Funny story, George. It wasn't a dinosaur," said Peppa. The family searched the whole castle but couldn't find anything. Princess Peppa had an idea. "Let's look in the garden." The prince and princess ran outside where they spotted a line of huge footprints on the royal lawn. "Follow that trail!" cried Princess Peppa. They followed the footprints into the forest, continued Peppa, where they discovered a huge dragon with massive wings. The dragon picked up the prince and the princess, put them on her back, and took them on a magical flight. They soared over the mountains and flew higher than the clouds until it was finally time for the dragon to deliver them to their royal beds. The end, said Peppa. Now are you ready to get into bed, George? Asked Peppa. Yes, said George. I'm sure after all that adventure you'll have lovely dreams, said Mummy Pig. And if anything happens in your dream that you don't like, George, said Peppa, I will come riding in on a dragon and save you. Yay! Dragon! Cheered George. Peppa and George soon fell fast asleep. George dreamed he was riding a magnificent dragon and flying high above the clouds with Peppa. It was the best dream ever. The next morning, George woke up excited. Dragon! He shouted. Peppa told Mummy and Daddy Pig that George loved the dragon story so much he wanted to find a real dragon. That's lovely, George, said Mummy Pig. But dragons aren't real, I'm afraid. Some are real, aren't they, Mummy? Asked Peppa. Before Mummy Pig could answer, there was a flash of something green outside their kitchen window. Dragon! Cheered George. Really? Said Daddy Pig, looking up. George nodded. Right, well maybe we should go and check, said Daddy Pig. Hooray! Cheered Peppa. Another dragon hunt! Peppa, George, Mummy and Daddy Pig headed off in search of the dragon. They soon spotted some tracks in the forest. Follow that trail, cried Peppa. The tracks led all the way to a castle. Dragon, cheered George, looking up and seeing Miss Rabbit on top of a huge robot dragon. Oh my, it is a dragon, said Mummy Pig. This is my robot dragon, Miss Rabbit shouted down. Sometimes I use it as part of the tour at the castle. Would you like to give it a go? No, thank you, Daddy Pig shouted up. He was a little bit scared of heights. Yes, please, cheered Peppa and George. Miss Rabbit gave Peppa and George a ride on the robot dragon. They were so high. Their heads were up in the clouds. George, cried Peppa, isn't riding a dragon magical, just like our story? Yay! Cried George. Dragon! After the ride was over, Miss Rabbit gave Peppa and George toy dragons from the souvenir shop to take home. Dragon! Roar! Said George happily. That night, Peppa and George cuddled their toy dragons in bed. They both fell fast asleep even before Mummy and Daddy could finish their bedtime story. I'm sure after that dragon adventure, they'll sleep really well, said Daddy Pig. Peppa and George love dragons. Everyone loves dragons. Hope you enjoyed this Peppa story, and I hope you get some magical dreamy sleeps tonight. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more such magical stories with me. Bye! See you next time!